Saskatchewan community in mourning. 2 members of a family band killed in a crash. A potential deal to take over a Saskatoon pool has some concerned. What's making waves for the union? And taking aim at a short-term hunt in Saskatchewan. Why wildlife experts are concerned about the practice.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Saskatchewan's music community is mourning the loss of 2 brothers who lost their lives in a crash near Melfort last night. They were members of a family band rising to popularity. CTV's Laura Woodward has more on what happened and the tributes pouring in.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Brothers Rainey and Seth Constant are being remembered for their talent on stage, performing in their family band Constant Reminder with their other brothers Cole and Ethan. Seth played the guitar and Rainey on the drums. On Thursday evening, their truck collided with an SUV on Highway 3 west of Melfort. The driver of the SUV, a 59-year-old man from Canistino, died at the scene. 31-year-old Seth Constant, who was driving the truck, also died at the crash site. His passenger, 24-year-old Rainey Constant, died later in hospital. RCMP are investigating the cause of the crash. Sask Music says the brothers' passing is a major loss to the music scene, calling the musicians talented, hardworking, and passionate. Gordon McKenzie, a fellow musician and longtime fan, remembers first seeing them perform in 2016.
They were trendsetters in a way because they were so young. What set them apart was how professional they were with everybody, and they were so personal with everybody that came around. Those guys were revolutionary in what they were able to bring.
The Constant brothers were members of James Smith Cree Nation, which released a statement saying, quote, their songs celebrated resilience, family, and identity, values that are deeply rooted in who we are as Cree people. Their legacy will live on through their music and the memories they created for all of us. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Meanwhile, RCMP have identified a pedestrian killed east of Nipawin as a man who had been reported missing. 30-year-old Courtnell Flett from the Shoal Lake Cree Nation was walking along Highway 55 near Nipawin at 6 o'clock the morning of October 2nd when he was hit by a vehicle. He died at the scene. The driver remained at the scene. Flett had been reported missing and was last seen October 2nd, the morning he was hit. A 30-year-old woman has died following a rollover on Highway 4 south of the Battlefords. It happened yesterday morning just after 7 o'clock. The woman died at the scene. 4 others were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Another was taken to hospital by Stars with serious injuries. A high-profile manslaughter trial in Saskatoon has been adjourned until after Thanksgiving. 47-year-old Roderick Sutherland has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter, unlawful confinement, and offering an indignity to human remains in the death of 30-year-old Megan Gallagher. Court heard Gallagher was killed inside a Weldon Avenue garage while restrained to a chair. This week, the lead investigator and people who were in the garage testified. 9 people were charged in connection to Gallagher's death. Sutherland is the last to stand trial, lifting the publication ban on details of the homicide. The trial resumes on Tuesday. Today was another day to enjoy, as is tomorrow, Jeff, but that's when things change.
Yes, Chantel, I do believe today is likely the last no-tie Friday because things are going to start to get a little on the colder side, certainly as we head into Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, bouncing back a little bit next week, but we'll talk about that later on. Right now, a pretty quiet pattern across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. That will change as a low-pressure center develops in British Columbia and makes its way into the Prairie provinces, and we'll talk about what that could mean precipitation-wise later on.
The city and the YMCA are looking to strike a deal that could see the YMCA operate a Saskatoon leisure center. But as Keenan Sorokon reports, not everyone is thrilled about the partnership.
Negotiations are underway that could end up seeing the YMCA operate Harry Bailey Aquatic Center when it reopens next fall.
Together, with the city, our partners, and our people, we can build a healthier, more equitable Saskatoon for generations to come.
Harry Bailey has been closed since 2023 for major renovations. Construction is almost done, with a reopening scheduled for next September. CUPE Saskatchewan, which represents Saskatoon civic employees, wonders what the arrangement will do to services people have come to depend on if a nonprofit takes over.
They are accountable ultimately to the people of Saskatoon. If that's contracted out, that no longer exists, and so we worry what that means for the standard of quality and the services there.
This new relationship has been years in the making. At a committee meeting Wednesday, city administration expressed a desire to lower operating costs and seek out new partnerships. The YMCA expressed its own interest to operate Harry Bailey last year after the city bought its flagship downtown building for $8.4 million. The city plans to demolish the building to make way for the eventual downtown convention center. 2 years earlier, City Council approved an operating model that would see the Y partner with the city to operate a future Eastside Leisure Center in Holmwood, a planned area east of Evergreen and Briarwood.
Publicly owned and publicly delivered public services are always the most efficient and effective form of delivery of those services.
CUPE leadership says some members have already received notice and agreement has been struck, but no layoffs are planned.
Having a partnership like this would not mean any lost jobs or any, people going home without paychecks. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Council will vote on the deal at a later meeting. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Last week, the province announced a one-week antlerless elk hunt in southern half of Saskatchewan aimed at reducing crop damage. But the move is sparking pushback from some hunters and the Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation, who say it could do more harm than good. CTV's Stacey Hine has those details.
In an effort to reduce crop damage from elk, the province is adding a special antlerless elk hunt in the southern half of Saskatchewan from zones 1 to 55. The hunt runs November 20th to the 27th, targeting females and young males without visible antlers. But not everyone agrees with the decision. Clint Brownridge is a farmer and hunter from the Arcola area in zone 33. He's had elk damage his crops, but says this hunt goes too far.
I'm opposed to it for several reasons.
He says his zone has a healthy elk population, but not an overpopulation, and worries the extra hunt could do more harm than good.
I don't think we even need the extra hunting pressure in our particular zone. I just think they really made a mistake by blanketing the whole southern Saskatchewan with.
The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation agrees, saying the hunt should be focused on trouble areas, not widespread. It also raises safety concerns, saying it overlaps with white-tailed deer season, and having two big game hunts at once could increase the risk for accidents. The Federation recognizes elk can be a problem for farmers, but says consultation is key.
These knee-jerk reactions aren't moving the needle at all towards solving the issue out there. So we need to start getting together with the landowner representative groups.
The Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities supports the move, saying elk herds are putting pressure on farmers with damage that's often underinsured. The Ministry of Environment says complaints and compensation claims over elk crop damage have been rising in recent years, and that the minister is open to meeting with the Wildlife Federation. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Regina man believes his wife received inadequate care while being treated for brain cancer. She died in April, just 82 days after being diagnosed. Today, her husband is detailing the experience. Wayne Mantika reports.
It was a nightmare. Rob Allison says dealing with his wife's brain cancer was an experience filled with confusion, anxiety, fear, and chaos. Waiting 7 hours in excruciating pain at the urgent care center. Lisa Allison died in April, just 82 days after being diagnosed with brain cancer. The NDP opposition invited the family to the legislative building to talk about their experience.
The pain and trauma I witnessed
with our healthcare system has traumatized me for life.
Rob Ellison says healthcare workers are doing their best, but are overworked and understaffed.
Having nurses call me at home, asking me to come to the hospital to administer her medication, including a dreadful call at 6:40 a.m., thinking that Lisa had already passed away. Emergency trips to the Pasqua Hospital, leaving her in a hallway with loss of vision and loss of hearing due to radiation.
In a written statement, the government said it takes situations like this very seriously as it continues to listen, learn, and strengthen the healthcare system. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Prince Albert now has 13 additional affordable housing units funded through the federal and provincial governments. Jasmine Pelche on who they are expected to benefit.
2 more affordable housing projects were unveiled Friday in Prince Albert.
This is a very much a showcase of where we need to be going for the city of Prince Albert and for families and for elders and for people who are transitioning out of very difficult circumstances.
The 2 new constructed projects were opened by the federal and provincial governments in partnership with the Prince Albert Community Housing Society. The Young Families Project is a 5-plex development for 4 young families and 1 senior, and the Mia Cota project will provide 8 1- and 2-bedroom apartments to those fleeing interpersonal violence, as well as a common space for programming. All 13 of the new units will be occupied by tenants this fall. Lisa Warner, housing coordinator for the Community Housing Society, says she still sees more applicants for affordable housing than there are available units. She doesn't see demand slowing down anytime soon.
I expect the demand to probably get greater, yes, if we're not addressing the homelessness and providing the homes for them.
Minister of Social Services Terry Jensen said the federal government has signaled that the Build Canada Homes program is going to involve all types of housing.
We would like to expedite projects like this because they are needed throughout the province and throughout Canada, and that's hopefully something that we're going to be able to get a better grasp of come November when the federal budget comes out.
Mayor Pawlinski said time is of the essence when it comes to housing development, as the new hospital expansion will bring hundreds of jobs to the city. Next week, City Executive Council will meet to discuss a zoning amendment that would allow vacant lots to be automatically zoned for up to 4 residential units. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
A boost today for the Veterinary Technology Program at Saskatchewan Polytechnic. A $1 million donation from the Heather Ryan and L. David Dubé Foundation will go toward a veterinary technology simulation lab at the new Joseph A. Ramey Saskatoon campus. The new simulation lab will offer students a hands-on learning space to practice clinical techniques and hone their skills. The lab will be named in honor of its donors.
What that shows is the community, individuals, very generous people in Saskatchewan are investing in Saskatchewan Polytechnic because they see us as part of the future. They're investing in our students, they're investing in the institution.
This gift is about students and hopefully provides you with the facilities you deserve and you need to excel in your career.
Today's donation is part of Saskatchewan Polytechnic's Time to Rise campaign, which is now just over 70% of its goal. Most birds have started their migration south as winter draws near. Around Wascana Lake in Regina, an outlier bird has been spotted. Damian Smith has that story.
Peter Kirchuk was taking his daily 5-kilometer walk around Wascana Lake until he noticed a different type of beak among the usual birds.
Different from a Canada goose in that they have long legs and they have a long neck and they're bigger.
The bird he saw, a sandhill crane amongst a gaggle of Canadian geese. The 3.5-foot tall bird seemingly left behind after its flock flew south for the winter.
But I usually walk around Wascana Lake every morning, and I've been looking for them, but I haven't seen them.
Turns out that this was not a new headline for wildlife rescuers, as this crane was under a bird's eye view this past summer and is only able to fly when trying to escape.
We did have volunteers out earlier in the spring to take a look when we were first getting reports. They went out to try to catch the bird, and it flew just enough to go above their heads and evade capture.
Though the bird doesn't have visible injuries, Dell is unconfident that the crane would be able to survive survive the winter, especially with the species being a vulnerable prey in the food chain. As she puts it, this crane could be an example of waterfowl being stuck in a grounded state that goes back several months ago.
They have a wing injury that prevents them from flying, and they spend the whole summer on the ground very happily. And then fall comes and their flock flies off and they're left behind. And that is just nature.
As winter approaches, Kurchuk will continue to keep an eagle eye on the wings at Wascana to see if his feathered friend is able to fly away before the snow does. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
A travel website is hoping to convince singer-songwriter Chapel Rowan to come to Saskatchewan. Skyscanner has put up billboards in Pasadena, where she has 2 shows tonight. They say if you're serious, Chapel, flights to Saskatchewan are $189 on Skyscanner. The campaign, dubbed Saskatchewan Detour, aims to spark the same kind of Canadian fan rally we saw when Swifties demanded Taylor add Canadian tour dates to her Eras tour. Rowan released a single called The Subway a couple of months ago with the lyrics referencing moving to Saskatchewan. It had many wondering if she would indeed pay a trip to our province. Well, still to come, what's behind a surprise on the job market? Also, the Prime Minister's plan to help Canadians and their bottom line. Watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. After a week of intense pressure to make progress on some hard files like trade and energy, Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiled a trio of small measures meant to lower costs and makes tax filing easier, just weeks before he unveils his first ever federal budget. As Rachel Aiello reports, today's announcement included some recent campaign pledges and one long overdue Liberal promise.
Today, the Prime Minister took a long-promised step towards ensuring all Canadians are fully covered under this country's social safety net. Starting next year, the Canada Revenue Agency will automatically file taxes for low-income individuals.
This program will pay out hundreds of millions of dollars in benefits in the next few years that would otherwise be left unclaimed.
The Liberals are also making a pilot program that provides food to schools nationwide permanent and are renewing the Canada Strong Pass, making museums, parks, and train tickets cheaper for a month over the December holidays and again for summer 2026.
Since no one can possibly experience all that Canada has to offer in just a few short months.
The announcement, the start of a political communication strategy.
Today was a preview of some of the things we're going to see in the next federal budget.
There's going to be more good news, trust me.
That was exactly my question.
Trust me.
But not all see it as good news.
They're printing cash to pay for their out-of-control spending.
Today, the government couldn't say why the years-old Liberal promise to make tax filing easier hadn't been acted on sooner, or why it'll take until 2028 to fully implement it.
I mean, we can talk all day about why something didn't happen in 2023 or 24 or 22, what have you, but I know certainly moving forward in this budget, 25, 26, 27, we have ambitious goals.
The Prime Minister said these measures will be considered operational rather than capital expenditures, a new distinction this government intends to make in its budgets. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A major surprise for the Canadian economy with an unexpected 60,000 jobs added last month. But with the unemployment rate steady at just over 7%, it's a good reminder to focus on the longer-term trends. CTV's Adrian Gobriel with why the increase in manufacturing jobs is no reason to celebrate.
This particular unit here.
Inside Rudy Pasquini's stainless steel banding company, the pride he has for his self-made small business is evident.
We're the only ones in Canada that actually do this. We've been doing it since about 2001.
Though his plans to hire have been put on hold after multiple U.S. clients put the brakes on their orders from his Canadian company.
We had a deal cooking in the U.S. that would have probably brought in about $9 million U.S. dollars. And because of the tariffs, it's all been put on hold.
Canada's unemployment rate, not including the pandemic, held at the 9-year high posted in August. Yet the country's economy also posted a net gain of 60,400 jobs in September, led by manufacturing, which accounted for nearly half of the spike in employment. though the uptick in manufacturing positions isn't being felt across the board.
Adrian, if we had that U.S. business and there were no tariffs, we would have expanded our operation by at least 10 more people.
The news is especially bleak for those trying to enter the job market. Unemployment among youth and young adults aged 15 to 24 increased to 14.7% in September, the highest it's been in 15 years.
Anytime the labor market has slacked, young people tend to bear the brunt of it.
The modest employment increase in September was also led by full-time work, according to Statistics Canada.
Here at Band and Go, Rudy Pasquini is calling on more recognition for the manufacturing sector and a renewed understanding of its ability to grow Canada's GDP and power job growth. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Vaughan, Ontario.
A nationwide walkout by Canada Post workers will soon be replaced by rotating strikes. The union representing striking postal workers says rotating strikes will start tomorrow. Canada Post says its services will begin to resume next week. Local branches will be told when it's their turn to rotate out of service. 55,000 postal workers have been on strike for 2 weeks when Ottawa said it would make changes to mail services. Canada Post says it's waiting to hear back from the union on its latest offer from last Friday. A class action settlement program is in its second year traveling across Canada and is looking to connect with those who live through the Indian Boarding Homes program. 2 information sessions were held recently in Regina to get the word out to the roughly 5,000 to 6,000 people who were part of the program in Saskatchewan. Over 24,000 claims have been filed so far across Canada.
You think of children who are 12 or 13 or 8 or 16, and then fast forward, 50 years later, that they're now having to manage and deal with memories and experiences that happened in their childhood that could be very painful. And what's important about this settlement agreement, unlike ones that came before it, is there is an acknowledgement of that.
The boarding home program was initiated by the Canadian federal government and was in operation from the early 1950s to the 1990s. It intended to relocate Indigenous children from their families and home communities. An explosion at a Tennessee explosives plant has left 19 people missing. Authorities say there are fatalities. The blast occurred today about 80 kilometers southwest of Nashville. There's no further danger of explosions, and the scene was under control this afternoon. The company processed explosives and ammunitions for the military. The cause of the explosion is not yet known. In the Middle East, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has now been in effect for more than 12 hours. Thousands of displaced Palestinians began the journey home in Gaza after the first phase of the peace plan went into effect at noon today local time. Israeli troops are not leaving the territory, but once they have pulled back, Hamas has 72 hours to release the 20 living Israeli hostages it's still holding. Israel will free 250 Palestinian prisoners. Hundreds of trucks per day are also expected to begin surging into Gaza carrying food and medical aid. U.S. President Donald Trump, who spearheaded the ceasefire deal, will travel to the region on Sunday. Meanwhile, large parts of Kyiv were plunged into darkness today after Russian drones and missiles struck Ukrainian energy facilities. The latest mass attack by Russia targeting Ukraine's energy system with winter approaching. Electricity was interrupted in 9 regions with around 600,000 households left without power across the country. The attack also disrupted the water supply and led to transport delays for many. Meanwhile, Russia's President Vladimir Putin, addressing the media, commented on the prospects of a ceasefire in Ukraine. All right, Jeff, a lot of people are planning ahead for the weekend, and good news in the sense that there won't be snow in as many parts that you had said earlier today.
Well,
that's the good news, right?
Yes, that is the positive way to look. That's the silver lining, I suppose. We'll turn that frown upside down. But we do have still the chance of precipitation in the forecast, and some of it will likely be in the form of some wet snow, but particularly in southern parts of the province. We'll talk about that later on. Let's take a look at our numbers right now. Currently, it is 20 degrees in Saskatchewan. A bit of cloud out there. Winds out of the southeast at 22, 17 in Prince Albert, 19 in the Battlefords, and as you can see, moderate winds in all all 3 locations. A quick look at the almanac. Well, we've got ourselves 22 degrees for a daytime high today, so 9 degrees above seasonal here in Saskatoon. 27 is the record, though. That was set in 1934 and in 1942. The record cold temperature, ouch, -9, a tie there as well, 1919 and 1960. And the sun came up at 7:23, and it went down about a minute ago.
Coming up, brick by brick, how millions of Lego pieces helps to tell a story from millions of years ago.
The countdown is on to Canadian Western Agrovision Tuesday on your morning. What you can expect from this year's show. I want to wish you all a happy and safe Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you Tuesday.
Did you just make a moo sound? I know I did. When you see pictures of cows, you're obligated to go moo, I think. Anyhow, we've got ourselves a lovely shot here. You can see that a fair amount of blue sky, maybe some thin clouds out there, but things are still looking pretty good, although the colors, of course, are changing along the riverbank. Get out there and enjoy it tomorrow because things are about to change. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our satellite radar shot here. A few rounds of moisture expected to move up through parts of British Columbia by the week. Some places may get up to 50 millimeters of rain, but that won't be the widespread situation. But yes, there is rain coming to BC if you're heading out there with your plans for the weekend. Across the prairies, things will start to change starting tomorrow as a low develops in British Columbia and starts to make its way through Saskatchewan and into Manitoba. And that will be part of, not the only reason, but the part of the snowmaker, or at least the bringer of precipitation. 20 degrees in Saskatoon, 17 in Prince Albert, 19 in the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, well, that was Maple Creek at 25, Broadview, the cold spot at -5. Around the province we go. Currently, it is 19 degrees in Lloydminster and Moose Jaw, 20 in Swift Current, 15 in Yorkton, 18 in the Queen City, and 17 in Regina. In central parts of the province, temperatures range from 15 degrees in a couple of locations up to 21. That's in Kindersley. It's 16 in Wynyard and Hudson Bay, 17 in Meadow Lake. Up north, temperatures are in double digits, and these are above seasonal temperatures for all these locations. 16 degrees right now in Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge. It's 10 in Collins Bay. Down south, a few places are still in the low 20s. That's Outlook and Maple Creek and Coronach. And then as temperatures drop off a little bit, well, it drops down to 12 in Broadview, but it's 15 in Melville, 17 in Carlisle, 18 in Weyburn. Here we go with our futurecast. So here's what we anticipate in the next 24 hours. There's that start of the I'll say the development of that low in British Columbia, and it's bringing snow to higher elevations. They might see some wet snow in Calgary by the time we get to late evening tomorrow or even into Sunday. So yeah, it's certainly out there. So Stony Rapids might be one of those places that will get some shower activity tomorrow. But look at these temperatures, well above seasonal, particularly in La Ronge, 19 degrees tomorrow, 17 for Meadow Lake, 20 in Spiritwood, 22 in Kindersley, Rosetown, 23, mainly cloudy skies in west central Saskatchewan. Mainly cloudy as well, and a bit warmer in the southwest, around 22 or 23 degrees. A bit more sunshine and warmer in the southeast. And then as we take a look at east central Saskatchewan, again, temperatures in the low 20s, around 23 degrees for most locations in east central Saskatchewan. The Battleford's dropping down to 8 tonight, 21 degrees tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies. And then we've got 3 and windy conditions on Sunday. Holiday Monday, 4 degrees, 8 on Tuesday, but getting back to closer to seasonal temperatures Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Prince Albert area dropping down to 7 degrees tonight, so not bad at all. 23 tomorrow, pretty darn nice. And then the big drop off, just 4 degrees with a chance of showers on Sunday. Holiday Mondays, 4 degrees, 6 on Tuesday, although it's sunny. 10 on Wednesday, 11 on Thursday, and 10 on Friday. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature, 9 degrees under clear skies, 23 big degrees on Saturday. And then as we take a look at Sunday, temperatures fall off the cliff. 3 degrees with an 80% chance of some showers or flurries or both. Mainly cloudy skies on Thanksgiving Monday, 4 degrees, 7 on Tuesday, 11 on Wednesday, 12 on Thursday, and 11 degrees 1 week from today.
Who are you?
I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog.
Gus Polinski, Polka King of the Midwest.
Del Griffith, Director of Sales, Shower Curtain Ring Division.
This is a lovely.
A documentary celebrating the life of beloved Canadian comedian and actor John Candy is out today. Produced by Ryan Reynolds and directed by Colin Hanks, John Candy, I Like Me, premiered at TIFF last month and drops today on Amazon Prime Video. The documentary traces the life and death of the SCTV star whose big screen hits in the early era in the 80s and early 90s include Stripes, Splash, Uncle Buck, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It includes interviews with Bill Murray, Catherine O'Hara, Tom Hanks, Martin Short, Macaulay Culkin, and Eugene Levy. The film also includes input from Candy's widow and children who say they welcomed the chance to celebrate their dad and have an open conversation about mental health and grief. Well, a big announcement from the Las Vegas Sphere today as the venue confirms the latest high-profile band set to take its stage. After teasing the reveal on social media, the Sphere confirmed that No Doubt is planning a reunion in Vegas for 6 shows next May. Tickets go on sale next week. The first batch of performers and presenters for the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony have been announced. Sir Elton John will be taking the stage alongside the likes of Olivia Rodrigo, Doja Cat, 21 Pilots, and Iggy Pop. Inductees this year include Bad Company, Chubby Checker, Cyndi Lauper, Soundgarden, and more. I love and more. They're fantastic. The induction ceremony will be streamed live on Disney Plus November the 8th. I think you've got all of And More's albums.
I do. I have them all, actually.
Very good.
You have And More photos today, at least one more photo.
Well, you have 4 today, cuatro, because it's the holidays coming up. So there you go. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But are we talking? Let's
we can talk about what's happening next week instead. There's a big gala here.
Okay, and there is a big gala, and we got some extra details. There's a big event happening here at Prairieland Park on the 17th of October. It is the Celebrating Abilities Gala. And with me today from Cheshire Homes, we have Kelsey as well as Celeste. So first of all, Kelsey, for people who don't know, what is Cheshire Homes?
Cheshire Homes is a living facility for adults living with various disabilities. And we provide resident-directed care, so they tell us what they need and we figure it out.
All right, figuring it out is all part of the process. And let's figure out what's going on that night. Not only a resident, but also one of the organizers. Celeste, what's happening on the big night?
So there's going to be, start off with cocktails. We have a supper. There's going to be a silent auction. We have vendor booths where there'll be people showing things that they do and also selling things. And then we also have Alvin Law coming as a guest speaker for us at the end of the night.
That will be great. So many people familiar with Alvin Law. For people to get their tickets, ticket deadline is the 13th, so Monday, Thanksgiving Monday. So you got a chance to get your tickets, still have time. Where do they get those tickets?
CheshireHomesSaskatoon.com.
All right. It's pretty straightforward. Celeste, Kelsey, great meeting you, and I'm sure the event's going to be a winner.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, Jeff, now time for Pick of the Day and more.
Yes, we've got 4 picks, and let's take a look. We'll start off with this one right here. Yes, it's perfectly in keeping with today. We had this one earlier from Sarah, but we want to hold on to it until we had a game day. And yes, this is the Riders MVP, most valuable pup, according to Sarah. The next one here is from Bob Forward, and this is from a few weeks ago, and it's a sunrise on the prairies. A really nice shot there, Bob. So thank you for sharing that with us. And from our alumnus, Doug Podolick, he sent this in. He says, "Hi, Jeff, for your approval, here's a shot of some geese in a water hazard at the Willows. As you can see, there was very little wind that day." And he also adds, "If the picture is turned upside down, it actually looks pretty funny." All righty. And finally, from Hilda in the Warman area, this is Martin loving the fall weather. That's what Hilda tells us. And Hilda also tells us Martin is a red fox lab. So there you go. If you're wondering what kind of lab he was. I will let you also know that if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Well, still to come on CTV News, building a prehistoric world, how artists have recreated a life lived millions of years ago.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
There's some new prehistoric pieces on display in Edmonton. Millions of Lego bricks make up a number of species that existed millions of years ago. CTV's Merrick DeCash has more.
Finn Fernie was one of the first people inside the new Jurassic World exhibit at the TELUS World of Science.
I only know that Stegosauruses use those spikes on their backs to defend the T-Rex.
Dozens of children got an early look at the new gallery a day before it opens to the public.
I call one of them a Bumpy Lumpy because it has tons of bumps on it.
Jurassic World was built with 6 million pieces of Lego. A team of Lego artists from Australia is responsible for putting it together.
Just to build the models was 10,000 hours of build time with 6 million Lego bricks over a period of about 6 to 9 months with a team of 30 people.
This exhibit is meant to be interactive. It includes 6 different areas where people can get creative.
Every single area within the exhibit also has a build area. So you're not just looking at these sculptures, you're getting to build right alongside those Lego masters as well.
Brickman has 8 different shows across the world. Edmonton is the only Canadian city where Jurassic World will come to life.
I mean, everyone loves dinosaurs, everyone loves Lego. You put the two of them together, you don't find many people you can't please.
It's a space where guests are going to be inspired to build and innovate and really see where their imaginations can take them.
The Jurassic World exhibit will be showcased at the TELUS World of Science until April 6th. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
When we come back, why a Canadian man went in search of surgery overseas. And later, we take you to a pumpkin patch near Saskatoon.
All right, welcome back, and let's take a look at our rural forecast as we head into Saturday, and things are looking quite promising. I know I've been talking about that. I just really want to emphasize tomorrow because Sunday, it's not going to be as much fun. 17 in Meadow Lake, 18 in Lloydminster. The wind starting to pick up along western areas. Kindersley, 21, 23 in Outlook, 24 in Watchers, 23 for Hudson Bay, 23 as well in Wynyard. And as we take a look at southern Saskatchewan, well, the temperatures don't jump up big time, but they are a little warmer as we get closer to the international border. Well, Lumsden's 25. That's not that close to the international border, but Coronach is at 26. Everyone on this part of our map is at 20 degrees or warmer. Most locations in and around that 22 or 23 degree mark. So let's take a closer look at Southie. And Southie's expected to hit 24 degrees tomorrow. The wind's starting to shift around a little bit, and that's an indication of that cooler air coming our way. So yes, we are going to see a change in the weather as we make our way into Sunday. But enjoy that 24, Southie. And Southie is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
An Alberta man is walking with less pain, but it took a trip across the Atlantic to make it happen. Instead of waiting for hip surgery in Canada, he flew to Lithuania for the procedure. As Kathy Lee explains, with surgery wait times at home dragging on, Canadians are looking abroad for relief.
Each step a revelation for Gary Garby. The pain that once consumed him.
It was excruciating. I was bedridden for the most part.
Now becoming a dull memory thanks to surgery on his hip.
It started off as mild osteoarthritis. From there to severe, to the bones were grinding, to the ball collapsing and fracturing.
But relief wasn't found in a Canadian hospital. The 64-year-old flew to Lithuania for the procedure because the wait time at home could have been a year or 2.
I couldn't wait. I was just like I was losing it.
We would have sold things if we needed to in order to go and get this done. It was at that point. The surgery alone was $16,000.
But that price tag's still cheaper than a private clinic back home. Some places almost double. Garby's surgery was facilitated by Med Travel Solutions. It says 95% of patients are from Canada, and they try to schedule everything within 6 weeks.
This is a growing phenomenon. The Canadian healthcare system is letting patients down, so they're giving up and going elsewhere. They don't want to wait.
In a statement, the province says there is more work to do to reduce wait times across our healthcare system, but that Alberta continues to perform better than the national average in surgical wait times in 4 areas: hip replacement, hip fracture repair, knee replacement, and radiation therapy. Still, for Garby, the system failed him.
It's hard to comprehend that you'd have to travel that far to something that like this severity in order to remedy it.
But now the focus is on the future. With each day, he feels closer to reclaiming the life
Things are just going to get better from here on in.
he thought he had lost. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Strathmore, Alberta.
The markets sank today on a post from the American president. Marilla Fernandez explains.
Markets took a steep U-turn this morning after Donald Trump posted online about China. The post reignited fears of the trade war getting worse. Trump threatening to increase tariffs on China because Beijing is again tightening exports of critical minerals, which are crucial to both technology and defense firms. The North American market sank, with the tech-heavy NASDAQ losing more than 800 points. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down to 71.43. West Texas Intermediate crude is down more than $2.50 to 58.48. Western Canadian Select is down over $1 to 50.36. And the TSX sank today, losing 419 points and dropping under 30,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just under $1.29 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.21.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day down at $1.21.35, and Nutrien was down $1.92. Coming up, why police were in hot pursuit of a pumpkin. Then searching for the perfect pumpkin close to home.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television coming up right here on CTV starting at 7 o'clock.
911 Nashville, the music's too hot.
Speaking of 911, someone called 911 because police in Northeast Ohio were called to a very unique situation, you could say. A large orange inflatable pumpkin was on the loose in one neighborhood. Body camera footage shows officers pursuing and detaining the pumpkin, then returning it back to its home where it's back on display. No word on how it escaped in the first place. I feel like we get these every year, like someone.
I think some
giant
high-spirited youths cut it loose.
Rolls away.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, from escapee pumpkins to those that set records, twin brothers Stuart and Ian Payton from England have broken 2 world records for both the world's largest and heaviest pumpkin. Their gourd weighing in at 2,819 pounds, or nearly 1,300 kilos, with a circumference of 6.5 meters. The farmers have been growing giant pumpkins for the past 50 years. That's quite the talent.
Rule Britannia. Britannia rules the patch. There you go.
How much coffee have you had today?
Couple cups.
Oh, a couple dozen.
Well, maybe it's not just coffee. Anyhow, let's roll along here to our situation for tomorrow. So 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, 12 degrees by noon, 17, which is already above seasonal, and mid-afternoon around 23 degrees by 5 o'clock. It's 22, so things are looking pretty good for this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, for Saturday.
Yeah, for that. You know, Thanksgiving here, Halloween right around the corner. So obviously pumpkins are in high demand. Black Fox Distilleries, you picked Pumpkin Patch open for the season out on Valley Road. People were out this afternoon enjoying the weather, choosing the perfect gourd on the 3-acre Pumpkin Patch. It's also a fun place to take a photo or two with family and friends. The price per pumpkin depends on its size, in case you were wondering. So It's a beautiful day to get out there and take a look.
Absolutely. And some terrific people that work with us here at CTV help getting this show on the air each and every day. So thanks to them and thanks to you. And have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes. Be safe, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Bye now.